I decided to move the CO2 injection system and all of the aquatic plants to my other 75-gallon tank now that the tannin in that water is much less after repeated water changes. If you use coal slag as a substrate, it's important to remember that coal slag will scratch the glass, and so as I used a green scouring pad to clean this glass, I inadvertently got some in the scouring pad and scratched up this tank. But if you use a fresh scouring pad and stay a few inches away from the substrate, a green scouring pad shouldn't scratch the glass, and then you can use your finger or a credit card or some other straight edge in a downward motion to get close to, and in fact between the substrate and the glass, without scratching it. So what I'd like to do is slowly move the fauna, a few at a time, over the course of several weeks, maybe even a month, into the new tank, giving the beneficial bacteria a chance to keep up with the increased bioload, and then break down this tank and replace it. Here's a look at the new setup after I transferred the plants to this tank. They seem to be doing alright initially. There may be some melting in the near future, but with the CO2 injection and the fertilized substrate, and also the addition of micro and macronutrients, I believe the plants will do alright, as they did in the previous setup. And gradually, as I add the fauna, this should make for an interesting setup. Here on the left side you can see the Cryptocoryne parva. It's a tiny plant and it grows very slowly, but it seems to be doing well after the transition, and I'm hopeful that it will propagate in this tank. The pink flamingo Cryptocoryne is looking very nice as well. I was surprised how it took off in the previous setup, and the transition doesn't seem to have affected it much. The Amazon sword plants really took off in the previous setup, so I'm hopeful they'll continue to do well in this tank. I intentionally left this gap in the hardscape. I want to add the plastic hide that my South American bumblebee catfish enjoys to this particular nook, but I'll probably move him last, as he is the largest fish in the other setup, and I want to be sure that the beneficial bacteria has propagated to the point to handle the bioload.